श्रीवत्सवंशकलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्या अवाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतः तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दैकसिन्धोर्रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे Sannidhattam Sada Hridi. In the previous lecture, we saw about the requirements for Acharya Sambandha, the 6 requirements. We saw them in detail. After that, we looked upon what needs to be done after getting the Sambandha. What do you do when you have Acharya Sambandha? Oh, I have got an Acharya, that is enough. Let me just go back in my way. Is it? No. You should go and learn from him. As Krishna said, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. In that way, you fall at the feet of the Acharya, you ask appropriately, and then you perform service to him, then you learn from him. You learn from the Acharya about Bhagavan. As you learn, you will gain knowledge. As you get knowledge of Bhagavan, you will get devotion in Bhagavan. As you get more and more devotion, you would eventually go and surrender to Bhagavan. That is the path that was shown. This was discussed in the previous class. Now today we are going to look at one example. It is the example of Ajamila. Kindly mute yourself if you are joining this class. Now, I have not shared all the shlokas here. These shlokas are from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is from the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There, 2 chapters are talking about this. In the first chapter, you get the first shloka that is shared here. In a region called Kanyakubja, there was a Brahmana who was known as Ajamila. His name was Ajamila, and he was quite popular there. The first shloka that where he is introduced by Shuka Brahma to Parikshit. This is a story that is narrated to King Parikshit. So, in the story, what happens? There was a person called Ajamila in Kanyakubja. In Kanyakubja, what was this person doing? He is mentioned as a Dasi Pati. Now, this particular verse needs a little bit of clarification simply because some modern day people are attacking it. The term Dasi Pati, what does it mean? Pati means husband in this context. Dasi means servant. If you look at many translations, the translations don't say servant. The translations use the word prostitute. For that reason, a lot of people say, look how it has been equated. This is how the 4th Varna has always been vilified and has been shown to be very, very immoral and so on. But that is not really the case. We have to understand that. So, he was known as Ajamila. He was the husband of such a woman. and he was a Nashta Sadacharaha, implying that he had Sadachara, he had good practices, but he lost all of them. He had good qualities, and unfortunately, he lost all of them. Now, because of the association with this particular woman who was his wife, he lost all of his good qualities. This is said. This is the 21st shloka in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, a few shlokas later, what he was initially is described. What was he initially? Ayam hi shruta sampannah शील वृत्त गुणालय धृतव्रतो मृदुर्दान्तः सत्यवांग मंत्र विच्छुचि. How many good qualities he had? He had lots of good qualities. But what happened to him? Remember, he became a Nashta Sadachara, meaning one who had lost all of his bad qualities. What was he really doing? He was troubling other people. So the 22nd shloka, which is not mentioned in the slide, it says, Bandhyakshais kaitavais chauryaihi garhitam vrittimasthitaha bibhrat kutumbamashruchihi yatayamasa dehinaha. The last word dehinaha. Veeraraghavacharya, in his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, he has written that he troubled not just humans, but also animals and birds. So this Ajamila, who had fallen from the duties of a Brahmana because he failed to do it properly, he was troubling a lot of people. He would make a lot of people bandi, that is, he would arrest them. He would steal from them, chauryahi, by stealing, kaitavaihi, by cheating. He would cheat people. So in this manner, he would cheat people, he would steal from people. All sorts of wrong things were done by him. This is what Ajamila was doing. He had spent a number of decades this way. Eventually, he became 88 years old. At that time, he had 10 children. Among the 10 children, the youngest child was named Narayana. Why was he named Narayana? That is a question. The reason why the child was named Narayana was that at some point of time, Ajamila was a proper Vishnu Bhakta. Now, this Narayana is a child. He is the last child of Ajamila. Ajamila loved this child a lot. This child wouldn't move properly like the brothers. It wouldn't speak so fluently. Somehow, these kinds of qualities made Ajamila very much attached to his last son. So he would always keep Narayana close to him. Which Narayana? He has forgotten Bhagavan Narayana. He has forgotten Sriman Narayana. But he has his own putra, Swaputra, he has, whose name is also Narayana. He used to keep that Narayana nearby. So when going to eat, he would say, Narayana, come here. Come here and eat. If he is going to drink water, he would say, Narayana, come here. Always he would keep saying Narayana, Narayana, without thinking about Bhagavan. Now, a lot of people, when talking about the story of Ajamila, they mention that he said the name Narayana once and it gave him the phala. What are we seeing here? We are seeing that he said the name of Narayana many times. How is this fair? No, no, we are only saying what is already there in the scripture. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the shloka is there. Bhunjana prapiban khadan balakam sneha yantritaha bhojayan payayan mudhaha na vedagatamantakam. His antakala came. Until then, he was behaving in this way. He had this favoritism with this particular child. Not that he hated the other children, but he loved this particular child a lot. So, when the time of death arrived, when Mrityu Kala came, he started thinking about Narayana. Which Narayana? His son Narayana. He started thinking about his son. This is a very small child. How is he going to manage? I don't know. After I die, his older brothers are all well off. How is this guy going to manage his life? He was thinking that way. Remember, the story is similar to what we saw in the case of Jadabharata. Jadabharata thought in that way, who is going to take care of this animal once we are dead? But there are differences in the stories also. Because Jadabharata, in his story, we see the sage thinking about the animal and not using the name of Bhagavan. Here, yes, Ajamila is not thinking about Bhagavan, but he uses the name of Bhagavan. So in his thoughts, there is the name of Bhagavan. In his words also, the name of Bhagavan is coming. That is the difference. What happened to Jadabharata? Because he was thinking during the time of death, he was thinking about that innocent deer which had to be saved. As a result, he had to be reborn as that animal. But what happens in the story of Ajamila? Simply because he had given a name of Bhagavan. Now he is thinking about the name of Bhagavan. What is happening to him? Let us see. He was nearing the time of death. At that time, 3 Yamadutas came, looking very scary. Yamadutas came to take his Atma away from the body and take it to Yamaloka. Ajamila 100% deserved Yamaloka for now. Correct? He had sinned so much. What all he had done? We saw what all he had done. He would steal from people. He would bind people. He would cheat people. That is how he was living his life. Surely, such a kind of person can never get Sadgati. Such a kind of a person can only get Naraka. Yamadutas came. They thought it is time. Ajamila was able to spot the Yamadutas. Now a question will come. We also had elder people in our houses. They also faced a time when their death had arrived. But they don't seem to have thought about anything. Furthermore, forget about thinking of Bhagavan and other things. Furthermore, they never got to see Yamadutas. Nobody has ever said, oh, I have seen Yamadutas. We don't see even that. How do you answer this? We say, Ajamila at one point of time was a great guy. Due to his good karma, he was able to, due to his past good karma, which was not done for this sake, but was done elsewhere. Due to his past good karma, he was able to see the Yamadutas. Now, when he saw the Yamadutas, he immediately knew that he is going to die. He immediately knew that he is going to die. What did he do? He started crying for the sake of his son. Out of love for his son, he started crying. How did he cry? He cried out the name of the son, Narayana. He cried. He cried thinking about the name of his son and not about Vishnu. But because he cried out Narayana, Vishnu Dutas immediately arrived there. Now, Vishnu Dutas said, let us take this person to Vaikuntha. But there were Yamadutas standing right next to them. The Vishnu Dutas told the Yamadutas, don't take him to Yamaloka. Don't take him to Yamaloka. The Yamadutas asked, who are you? Suddenly you are coming, you are telling, don't take them to Yamaloka. Who are you? First tell me, who are you representing? Where are you coming from? Why are you stopping us? The Vishnu Dutas were asked that way. The Vishnu Dutas, how are they? All of them have eyes that are lotus-like. All of them wear pitambara. All of them have kundali. All of them have kundala. In this manner, they are looking very, very similar to Vishnu himself. All of them are Chaturbhujas. In this manner, the Vishnu Dutas have a lot of similarities with Vishnu. Now Yamadutas are asking, who are you people? Please introduce yourself. Suddenly you are coming and telling us to stop whatever we are doing. So, at that time, the Vishnu Dutas replied. They said, we are Vishnu Dutas, but if you are Yamadutas, you should first teach us about Dharma. You should teach us about growing Dharma and curbing Adharma. So, the Vishnu Dutas had stopped the Yamadutas. What did the Yamadutas do? They started answering. So the Vishnu Dutas ask, how do you decide to punish? Who all get punished? Is every person who is having karma punishable? Tell us all of these things. The Yamadutas started replying. That is when we get the second shloka here. So the Yamadutas said, whatever is said in the Veda is 100% dharma. Veda pranihito dharmaha hyadharmastad viparyayaha vedo narayana sakshat swayambhurti sushruma. Veda pranihito dharmaha. Whatever has been taught by the Veda is dharma. We see a similar shloka in the Dharma Shastras. Adharmas tad viparyaha. The opposite of the Vedic teaching is adharma. Vedo Narayana Sakshat. Veda is to be treated as Sakshat Narayana. Sakshat Swayambhuriti. So, Sakshat Narayana. He is Swayambhuriti Sushruba. He is unborn. So, whatever has been said by Veda is dharma. Whatever is opposite to Veda is adharma. That Veda is Narayana only. Vedo Narayana Sakshat. Swayambhurti Sushruma. So, it is quite clear to us that when Narayana himself is called the Veda, that unborn person, Swayambhu, Ajayamano Bahudha Vijayate, says the Veda. So, he does not have any birth. Krishna also says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. Ajopi sannavyayatma, Ajopi, despite being birthless, O Arjuna. So, all of that is there. Vedo Narayana Sakshat, Swayambhuriti Sushruma. We have heard this way from Yamadharma Raja that Vedas are ordained by Narayana, and whatever you follow the Veda, it is equal to following Narayana. So they then praise Bhagavan Vishnu. After praising Vishnu, they could have stopped. They did not stop. They started saying, look at this fellow. This fellow, Ajamila, he has not done what is right. You people are not having any sin. You have come straight from Vaikuntha. But this person is not like what you think. He is a very big sinner. He is a very big sinner, and for his sins, he has to suffer that time in Naraka. So, can we build the Naraka? At that time, at that time, the nature changed a bit, but not just that. The Yamaduta said, we have to compulsorily take him. The Vishnu Duta stopped them. They said, no, you cannot do that. It would be very, very wrong. So, send us to him. Let us take him. Let us take him to Vaikuntha. Eventually, the Vishnu Dutas managed to convince the Yamadutas. After a long discussion between the two, now how was this person? The Yamadutas, in their explanation, they had said, he was such a great man. You don't know. I am he. This person only, at one point of time, do you know how he was? I am he. Shruta Sampannaha. He was very well educated in the Shruti, in Vedas. Sheela Vritta Gunalayaha. Sheela, character. Vritta, take it as conduct. Guna, take it as good quality. He was the abode of all of these. Or take it as Sheela Guna and Vritta Guna, that way. So he was an abode of such qualities. Dhrutavato Mrudurdantaha. So he was very firm in following the Vedic teachings. And he was a Danta, meaning he was a person who had controlled all of his senses. That kind of a person he was. Does it end there? No. Satyavak. He, Satyavan, sorry. He was a person who always spoke the truth. Mantravit. He was well knowledgeable in mantras. It doesn't mean he went and studied the mantras from somewhere. It means he had learned mantras by parampara, which is a great thing, even today. Satyavan, Mantravit, Shuchihi. He was very, very pure. That is how he was, this Ajamila. Maybe you are confusing the old Ajamila for the present Ajamila. But please listen. The old Ajamila is no longer there. Do you know what happened? Gurvajñatithi vruddhanam Sushrushuranahankritah Sarvabhuta Suhrit Sadhuhu Mitavagana Suyakaha. This person who was at one point of time so good, he fell down. What really happened to him in his story? Ajamila was walking by. One fine day, he saw a couple. What was this couple doing? Whatever had to be done in private, they were doing in public. Whatever they were supposed to do in private, they were doing in public. Ajamila could neither unsee it nor forget that girl. That one girl, he found her to be too attractive. And she was behaving in a shameless way. She was behaving in a shameless way in public with another man. Why? Because she was a prostitute. This answers the question about dasyaha in the first shloka of the slide. Okay, now what happened? The people, the two people who were there, Ajamila fell in love with the woman. He brought her home. He gave her money. He brought her home. He said, become my servant permanently. He said, become my servant permanently. Become my dasi permanently. And he kept her not for cleaning the house or anything, but for physical relationship. Having behaved that way, he started living with her. He totally fell for her. He lost all the control that he had. He lost all the good gunas that he had, which are very well contrasted, right? He was Shruta Sampanna, Shila Vrata, Dhruta Vrata, Satyavan. So much is said, right? Sarva Bhuta Suhrit. He was like a friend to all. Sadhu, he was of good nature, Sadhu Vritti. He was a person who would speak only in a good way. He was all of that. Unfortunately, he lost all of it. He lost all of it because of his association with that woman who was a prostitute. She was initially with some man. Now she has come to Ajamila because he is giving her money, he is keeping her in the house and everything. Because of that shameless woman, Ajamila himself also lost his character. Therefore, Tamnadashta Sadacharo Dasyas Samsarga Dushitaha of the first shloka that has been shared here. So what happened to him? We saw what happened. He grew to be 88 years old. He had 10 children. The youngest son was Narayana. That son Narayana was very dear to him. When the time of death approached, Ajamila saw Vishnu Dutas. He saw Vishnu Dutas and he started thinking about Narayana, his son. So he called out, Narayana. Vishnu Dutas appeared there. He has said Narayana, therefore he should attain Vaikuntha. No, 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 he has been a very great sinner. He should go to Yamaloka. In that way, the Yamadutas are arguing. The Vishnu Dutas convince them that he should not go to Yamaloka. After convincing him, after convincing them, the Vishnu Dutas, they don't take him immediately to Vaikuntha. What are they doing? After convincing them, they go away. They don't carry Ajamila directly to Vaikuntha. This should be kept in mind by us. So the Vishnu Dutas, when they argued, what did they say? Let us see just one shloka. Ayam hi kritanarveshah जन्मकोट्यम हसामपि यद्याजहार विवेशः नामस्वस्त्ययनं हरेः नामस्वस्त्ययनं हरेः. By saying the name of Hari, Harehe Nama Swastyayanam, it is the way for welfare. It is the way for moksha. Ayam hi kritanirveshah janma kotyasamapi. What has happened? For several koti janmas, janma kotyam hasamapi. Janma koti, for crores of lives. Amhasam, for the sins. Api, also. So, for the sins that were committed in several crores of lives also, he is now Kritanarveshaha. He is a person who has performed the prayashchitta. How? Namasvastyayanam harehe. So, Yadvyajahara viveshaha namasvastyayanam harehe. So, as he has chanted the name of Hari once, he has been freed from the sins of several lives. For that reason, yes, he was a sinner, but he has already done the prayashchitta now. So we cannot let him to be taken to Yamaloka. Let him be taken to Vishnu Loka. In this way, the Vishnu Dutas spoke. The Vishnu Dutas, how much kindness they have. The kindness of the Vishnu Dutas is reflected from Bhagavan's own kindness. You should remember that. And Bhagavan himself says, my name, chanting my name is the greatest. There is nothing greater to that. He says such things as well. So what is happening? This Ajamila, he is at the deathbed. The Vishnu Dutas are arguing with the Yamadutas. And Vishnu Dutas eventually convince the Yamadutas to return. On seeing all of this happen, Ajamila's eyes showed him Vishnu Dutas as well as Yamalokas. he saw Vishnu Dutas as well as Yamadutas. Therefore, he was able to see the conversation between them. At that time, he realized I had by chance named my son Narayana. I had lost all bhakti in Narayana, and I had by chance named my child as Narayana. But look at how the Vishnu Dutas are saying that therefore I became eligible for moksha. This is what we saw in that older verse. Vidhi parinati bhedat vikshitastena kale. By chance, he had done some little good, and that good was also immediately taken by Bhagavan and amplified in such a way that only good things happened to him. Only good things will happen to Ajamila. One good thing was done by him that was taken by Bhagavan and amplified and returned back. It was considered to be so much more. So in that one life, he called out to Narayana once when he was dying. That was taken to be the call to Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, although it really wasn't. So what happened? One who recites the name of Bhagavan gets freed. Okay, does he get freed only from those crore years of sins? No, not like that. In fact, it is said, Sanketyam parihasyam va stobham helanameva va vaikuntha namagrahanam ashesha gaharam viduhu. One who recites the holy name of Bhagavan, he can get freed from all the past centuries of all the past lives of sin that he has committed. That should be kept in mind. And it is so no matter who the person is. No matter who the person is. Patitasthalakito bhagnaha santastaptavahatah haririthyavashenaha umannarhati yatanaha. Even the fallen people, patitaha, even the skhalitaha, those who have slipped and are falling down now, those who have fallen fully, those who have fallen and broken their bones, no matter what, you recite the name of Hari, that will give you the supreme benefit. In this manner, the Vishnu Dutas were explaining every single thing. Yamaraja was himself very great at dharma. Correct? Yamaraja is himself called Yama Dharma Raja. He would never take a decision in Ajnana, would he? Would he or would he not? Who can tell me? Nobody is answering. Huh? एवं सुविनिर्णीय धर्मं भागवतं नृप तम्याम्य पाशान्निमुच्य विप्रं मृत्योरमुमुचन्. So the Vishnu Dutas, they saved Ajamila permanently from the problem of others, from the problem of the Yamadutas. So what is happening now? Those Yamadutas, they went to Yamaloka and they started reporting everything to Yama. They told Yama Dharmaraja, we thought you are the biggest in the world. We spoke there, but those people say they are Vishnu Bhaktas. And then they described how the Vishnu Bhaktas look. And they said they have come here. At that time, Yamadharma Raja also told them, don't stop. Vishnu is the protector of everything, including my own kingdom. So, Ajamila, who was seeing the entire conversation, he was trying to speak something. He tried to speak out of his sadness. He had understood the right way of life. I was already living that right way of life. I was already so immune to desire and so on. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsarya, Lobha, Moha. He was immune to all of them. Despite having considered myself to be 100% immune, I have not been immune. That is a problem. So that great Ajamila, who had studied scriptures in an authentic way and who had practiced everything in an authentic way, he now started showing dharmic behavior, 100% dharmic behavior, so that the purpose of his life is met. Remember this. Ajamila was wondering, did I just have a dream or was it a reality? These Vishnu Dutas, they came, they argued, then they disappeared. How is it fair? It doesn't look like real, but it should be probably real. There are other symbols of it. What is happening? A person lying at his deathbed, listening to the argument between Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas, seeing Vishnu Dutas convincing the Yamadutas to go back away. But the Vishnu Dutas are also not taking him. He is stuck in the world. For how long? Well, he cannot instantly get moksha. But Ajamila, he said, I am shameless. I am a cheater. I have killed not only people, but also our good culture. Now I should be so inferior. How will I be fit to even recite the name of Narayana? Which Narayana? The real Narayana. So when we looked at Jada Bharata story, we realized that there is a divinity at play. Here also there is a divinity at play. But it is at play at different locations. That should be kept in our minds. So what was happening? Ajamila, he became a complete devotee. You can see the last shloka. Tato gunebhya atmanam viyujya atma samadhina yuyuje bhagavadhamni brahmanyanubhavatmani. This Ajamila, he became a complete devotee. Why is it said that he became a complete devotee? Because just because Vishnu Dutas came, it does not mean he would get Vaikuntha. He still has to burn his remaining prarabdha karma. He has not yet attained that state where he can instantly get moksha. He is still unfit for moksha. Being unfit for moksha, he did not get moksha. So he lived with good qualities. He lived with good qualities. He detached his mind. He kept thinking about the experience of that great Brahman, which is Sriman Narayana. Yuyuje Bhagavad Dhamni Brahmanyanubhavatmani. So he lived the rest of his life as a devotee and eventually got moksha. That is the story of Ajamila. Now, what do we learn from these stories? There is something similar between the Alvar stories and Ajamila's story. That is the part where both of them, they fell in love with a woman, a different woman, of course. For which reason? They forgot bhakti. Correct? The Alvar, Tollaradi Alvar, he fell in love with a celestial lady. On the other hand, Ajamila, he fell in love with a Shudra lady, a lady of the fourth Varna. Now, the problem here was that the lady was of inappropriate character and her character started influencing. First of all, as a pure Brahmana, he shouldn't have even looked at her when she was standing with another man and she was not dressed properly and they were hugging and cajoling and whatever in the public. At that time, he shouldn't have stared at her. How is he presented? Hmm? He is presented as a person who has good qualities. Correct? Sheela Vritta Gunalayaha. That is how he is called. Hmm? He is called as a person who has already got very good qualities. Yet, despite all his good qualities, that one day when he saw that, which he never expected to see, he lost his control and got fully attracted by the lady. He took her home, he made her his servant, and then he had a relationship with her, and then he had children. So many things. But in all that life, he is not behaving as a good guy. Now that evil has crept his mind, how does he behave? He behaves in an evil way. Therefore, therefore, he stole from people. Therefore, he cheated people. Therefore, he bound people and took whatever he wanted. Such a kind of a life he was living. He was able to come out of it by shouting the name Narayana. Oh, I am also there. I also shout the name Narayana. Why does nothing happen? Maybe I'm chanting without the faith. Or maybe where I need faith, at least that it is washed, I'm not having it. So it is very clear. A devotee might go away from the path of dharma, but as Krishna says, his bhaktas will always spring back up. They might be few, but his bhaktas, they would always get a good gati. They would always be protected by him. They would always, somehow or the other, be brought back to the correct path. Tato gunebhya atmanam viyujyatma samadhina yuyuje bhagavadhamni brahmanyanubhavatmani. Therefore, because he values even the slightest bit of contribution, slightest bit of bhakti, smallest step taken towards him, he rewards. He rewarded the Alvar by himself pretending to be a servant and going into the lady's house. In this particular case, his Leela involved the samvada between Yamadutas and Vishnudutas. The Yamadutas went back to Yamaraja. They reported to him. He said, yes, yes, if Vishnu Dutas are saying so, then that is only correct. We do not have power over there. So at the end of the day, the story is very similar to what happened with the Alvar. Okay, but what about our previous class? Very simple. Ajamila studied the Vedas under a proper guru. He had a guru. Unfortunately, he forgot the teachings of the guru and moved away. Therefore, the problems came. Also, we said having Acharya Sambandha is not enough. You need to get educated, you need bhakti, you need sharanagati. He was a bhakta. In between, he lost bhakti towards Bhagavan, but there was still bhakti towards his family members, as we saw. Now, bhakti towards Bhagavan is returning. So he shows bhakti to Bhagavan and also surrenders to Bhagavan. That way, at the end of that life, Ajamila attained moksha. This is the story of Ajamila. How he fell and then how he got back up. It is a very important story if we want to understand the complete context of what we are seeing. Maybe I should call it the bigger picture. So with that, I will conclude today's lecture. If you have any question about Ajamila's life or anything else that was discussed in today's class, please feel free to let me know. I am also extremely tired. Ajamila, at least, he lived to be 88 years old. Then he felt tiredness. We people in Kali Yuga, we face tiredness very easily. We don't know when which phala will come. Yudhishthira says in Mahabharata, it is very surprising to him. It is very astonishing to him that people do not know what is going to be there the next day. They don't even know if they will be alive the next day. Yet, without knowing anything that they need to know, they are all doing all sorts of things at present. They perform so many activities in present without knowing that the future has something, or maybe it does not have something. They don't even know if they will be alive tomorrow. Yet they do so many things, so many celebrations, so much enjoying of the present. We people are also like that. We do not know. It is eternally true, right? We do not know the future. Whatever is there, let me enjoy it today. Those kinds of people are a lot. But those who use the time to surrender to Bhagavan, to ensure that bhakti is shown properly, or at least those who prioritize bhakti over other things, they are the ones who would be able to succeed. Ajamila had learned all of that in the initial days itself. In the initial days, he was a good scholar. Eventually, he left Vedas, he left the teachings, he stopped believing. Then he committed so many crimes. Vedas prevent you from committing crimes. But Bhagavan, he sees everything. If he wants in an instant, any feature will come. So with that, I would like to conclude today's lecture. If there is any question, please feel free to ask. If not, end it here.
Acharya Arun Kulkarni this side.
Yes.
Acharya, is it that is my existing life is a better version of my past life, or it can be whichever way it can be?
It can be whichever way. It is not necessarily a better version, but there is only one thing that gets better and better every time. It is what you earn through bhakti. What you earn through karma, it comes and it goes, right? It comes and it goes. So there is no guarantee that whatever present you are having is a better version of yourself when compared to the past. But in bhakti, it comes. It may go also, like how it went for Ajamila. But if it goes, it will definitely come back. And when it comes back, it will increase. So the net value will always be in the upward direction. It will always be increasing if you are looking at the realm of bhakti. If you look at the realm of karma, there is no guarantee. So whoever you are today need not necessarily be a better version of yourself when compared to all the past births. But you are today finding it easier to attain Bhagavan through bhakti. Remember that. Than you were you were finding in the previous lives. In the previous lives, how much ever Bhagavan was far away from you, that distance between you and Bhagavan, you and your attainment of Bhagavan, that is much lesser. In fact, it is the least in your current life. That is the beauty of bhakti.
Yeah, got it, Acharya. Thank you so much.
Anything else? If there is nothing, let us conclude the class. The point is very simple. Ajamila was a bhakta. He was a proper bhakta, educated bhakta. He was literally a brahmana, everything. He forgot everything. He went behind a woman. That woman was uncharged. Because of that woman who did not have a good character, he also lost his character. She said, why should you follow all the dharma? Follow whatever you like. You look at me. That guy gave me money, I went to him. You gave me money, I came to you. Now you give me more money, I will stay with you. He said, okay, I will give you more money. Don't go away. I will give you more money. What do you want me to do? Do anything you like, just give me money. But you cannot earn money that way, right? In a dharmic way, you can only earn so much. Ajamila was forced to go to the wrong path. And he thought, okay, it is okay to steal. It is okay to cheat as long as I am able to earn money and I am able to satisfy this lady. He had fallen. That is what had happened. But even such a person who had fallen completely is brought back by Bhagavan. Now remember, in the case of Tondaradipudi Alvar, we said, oh, he was sent by Bhagavan only, he was inherently pure and everything. That is not the case with Ajamila. Ajamila was not a Nityasuri sent to earth for a Leela. He was only a Jiva. Ajamila was an ordinary person like us. But even for that ordinary person, Bhagavan is not far away. He shouted at his tents and he called out, he said, Narayana. And Narayanas, the real Narayanas, Dutas came. That is the greatness. He said the word Narayana once and he got free from Yamaloka. He didn't have to enter Yamaloka. So with that, I will conclude today's lecture. Thank you so much for attending. योचम कुशोदि कौस्तुभस्य शिवास राघव गुणोस्तनेम ततश्च विद्यावाप्य भवतमतां दहनं वेदार्दिगुं कृणात्राख्यं वितार्क्य सिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः।